Welcome back to Ruben Art Studio. Let's get ready with your pencils, erasers, and today we're gonna draw a Black Panther. Alright, let's get started. First of all, you take a look at the space available. You think about where you're gonna place the head of your Black Panther. And I usually start with a circle, but you could have a different approach. I'm going to take you step by step how to draw a very ferocious Black Panther. And let's get ready. I want to leave a little bit of space on top, about an inch, depending if you have a 8.5 by 11 paper. Just leave some space around because that way we could place the ear and some part of the neck. See, I'm lightly pressing the pencil in case you want to go back and erase. Usually the circle get erased because we don't need it anymore once we get all the part of the Black Panther. See, you could hardly see it, but this is a circle right here. Lightly pressing your pencil. We're going to start from there. And then let's get slightly, pressing lightly the pencil, the lower jaw of the Black Panther. We have some space over here. And I'm going to press the pencil a little bit more so you're able to see what I'm doing. See? A circle and then the lower jaw. Good. Alright, we go around. This is where some of the hair gonna be. This is where the ear gonna be. And over here, the other ear gonna be right over here. We're just getting an outline of the head. Great. Now, let's continue right around here. This is right below the nose. This is where we're going to place the whiskers. And right over here, we're going to put the nose. We're going to draw the nose and this curvature right here. Good. Black Panther, a very aggressive animal. They usually live in the jungle. Some zoos have Black Panther. You're able to see Black Panther if you go to some zoo in different places. Alright. Around here, we're going to place the eyes a little bit inclined. I usually put two little dots. That way I know how big I want to put my eyes. And then I go around here. This is going to be smaller because he's a little bit turning to the side. Right? And those two little dots that we just put, we're going to erase. See? Almost straight line. Slightly curved. Over here. This second eye is going to be a little bit smaller. Curve. More like a semicircle right below. See? Now you're getting a sense of space and distance. This is the nose area. Okay. Over here, what I consider the eyebrow, the lower elevated upper part of the eye. We're making this Black Panther like really mad, like upset, ready for action. Now we're going to start pressing the pencil slightly. There is this curve over here. All right. Now let's continue with the mouth. And this is me suggesting you not to press the pencil too hard. Right around here, this is where we're gonna put the one of the big tooth. See, you could start seeing some of the shape. You could put 4 or 5 tooth right over here. Another one, big one right here. You can make it as big as you want in relation to the mouth. Right? And around here, we keep working on the lower parts where we're going to add the remaining of the teeth. You know, Black Panther are carnivorous, which means that they eat meat. From what I understand, they like to hunt alone. But often they get together and hunt their animal. So right now we're doing the lower jaw teeth. I'm adding basically 4 teeth right here. Right? Start pressing the pencil, get that lower jaw curve, and take your time. This is a moment that you enjoy doing different animals. This time we're doing the Black Panther. This is some of the, right now I'm doing a line for the neck. We're gonna start putting some details. Let's continue with the eyes. Right over here, a semicircle. Take your time, slowly, lightly press the pencil, and once you feel comfortable with it, once you feel satisfied, then you can start pressing the pencil. I like to leave that little white spot, which is a reflection of the light on the eye. Makes it look more realistic. Right? Let's continue with the second eye. Smaller, semicircle, the little white spot right on the left top. It could be on the right, depending where the light might be. Imaginary light that you place to create that shading and 3D effect. More curvature on the ear. As you can see, starting pressing the pencil because I'm okay with the shape of the head, and you could always go back and make changes. See, I'm bringing this down. That's one of the advantage of not pressing the pencil. You could always, readjust your line, put more detail, more definition. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Now let's continue. Let's leave some space, more or less. This is going to be a curve right here. A curve for the tongue. Right below, right before the teeth ending area. A little bit of curvature right here. See? Leave some space from the teeth to the tongue. The tongue is more like in the middle of the mouth and recede towards the back. I like to do a little curved line, which is half of the tongue. I put a little bit of shading. And if you want to start shading, feel free to do it. However, we're going to continue adding more detail. Right after the teeth, oh, I'm sorry, before the teeth, we have this line over here. It's more like a section where the teeth are placed. Create a little line over here. Right? We're gonna add some of the fur, what people know as the hair of the Black Panther. Some curves as well. And if you feel I'm going too fast, feel free to pause the video, take your time, readjust some line if necessary, and keep going. Now, you can see some of the detail already. Let's continue adding more detail to the nose. There is this low area, which is half of the nose. The one on the left is bigger because there is a perspective, there is a distance. The one on the left, my left, is smaller because of it's further away. All right. Right below the eye, another line, which is define the upper jaw. It's more like almost like a circle, but it has some curvature. You could see over here, right? And continue. Right in the middle of the nose, go up, and have this line over here. See, continue. This is what I consider the upper jaw. Right? The top eyebrow area, we're going to define it even more. Right? Let's put more detail on the ear. Has a lot of hair on top of the ear. Right? You know, we go in different area. Every time you go and put some line, you see, oh, I could go back and add more detail. For example, right now we're adding more detail to the eyes. Right? So we start. Let's put more detail on the top, what I call the top neck area. Some line over here. A little bit of shading. This is around the head. This fur, this accumulation of fur makes it more interesting. Right on the lower jaw, you could add a little bit of shading as well. See how everything is taking this definition that makes it look more three-dimensional, more 3D. Right below the eyes, the nose, right in the middle nose, we're gonna place a lot of hair or fur, as you may want to define it. Below the ear of the eye, gonna add some shading. different section of shading because it's create this the muscle on the head, the face of the Black Panther. And take your time. Every time you do this, you become more proficient, faster, better, more confidence. And that's what it is. Practice makes progress. Now let's add some hair on the top. What I consider the forehead. And take your time. Press it slightly, a little quick, depending on how much you've been practicing. You have your own style. Say, I divide this in a little section of hairs accumulation. For example, look over here. See, gets smaller at the end, and then it gets bigger or larger. Now on the upper jaw, let's add some shading as well. Give that, and keep in mind the direction of your hair. In this case, it go up over here. Shading, lightly pressing your pencil. Right? Anytime soon, we're gonna start adding the whisker. And keep in mind, right below the nose, finish that definition. And put some shading in the nose. There is the shape of the nose. Keep in mind, there's a little bit of shading around the nostrils. Try to give that definition of 3D. Just follow the way I'm doing it, and trust me, you're gonna end up doing it your own way, your own style, which is okay. I'm just adding more detail around the eyes. There's this little bit of shadow. That's a big eyes. Black Panthers are a beautiful animal. They could be very aggressive too if somebody's messing with them. If they get really hungry, they could be very aggressive. They're very fast. They could jump from one tree to another tree with ease. It feel like they defy gravity. They could just jump with such ability. It's unbelievable. Just like a cat. It's a type of cat, the Black Panther. See, I'm adding some shading on the lower jaw. Right around this area, I tend to make it darker. See? Right in between the teeth area. It got a little bit of 3D to the teeth. And what I'm saying is adding shadow, adding this shading over here, makes it look 3D. And take your time, very soft. In the middle, you make it darker. As you go up, it gets a little bit lighter. And behind the tongue or around the tongue, you also want to make it darker. Keep in mind the shape of the teeth on the upper part. You could redefine the shape. A little bit of a curve on the tip of each teeth. Over here, a little bit of shading. Right? And a little bit of shading at the end of the tongue as well. Don't forget the half of the tongue is a little bit darker. Just a little bit of shading on the tongue. We're gonna, well, I'm saying this is gonna be black and white for now. we're just gonna add a little bit of gray area right over here. But around the tone or behind the tone, as I mentioned a little while ago, it's gonna be black. It's gonna be dark. Keeping in mind that you have your teeth right over here, right around the tone. You could make it really, really dark. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. In fact, you could leave a white line right over here. And then on the edge of the lower jaw, you could also make it dark. Just leave this white area, this section over here. It's more like an outline, inside outline of the mouth. I'm going around the teeth, if you could see. All right. And over here, a little bit dark area. I could jump into the nose and make it a little bit darker as well. We're just playing with light and darkness over here. Keeping in mind the shape of the nose. Around the eyes, we could also make it darker. A little bit of curvature over here. Take your time, very soft. Those are delicate area. But you can see how aggressive this Black Panther is already looking. Right on this end area of the eye. We'll also make it darker. It's like between the nose and the eye. Make it darker. Because the light doesn't get there. And this is, we're working, thinking and taking into consideration the muscle of the Black Panther's face. Over here it tends to be a little bit darker. See, those areas where, imagine from your understanding as well, the head, the scalp behind the face, those areas, you tend to make it darker. And keep in mind that we're also going to continue working on the neck. The neck it has this curvature right here. So positioning your pencil to create that curve will give you tremendous advantage. Look, see, it has some curvature. If you feel that your drawing could be darker, go ahead. If you have it, grab a 6H pencil or 6B. That's gonna make it even darker. We could try that now. Let's make it a little bit darker with a 6B pencil. And I love using this pencil because it creates it helps us make it darker and also makes it look a little bit more 3D. A little bit of curve over here. Keep in mind, the curve is defining the muscle of the Black Panther. On top of the neck, also it has some section that is going to be darker. Some section going to be lighter because of the muscles definition and the light hitting those areas that are more elevated. Where the area that are more elevated going to be lighter. Keep in mind the shape of the neck has made the eyes a little bit darker. Always keeping the blights of the white spot right there. A little bit of gray inside of what is supposed to be the the iris of the eye. A little bit darker, but I keep calling the eyebrow. It's basically an elevated, it's an accumulation of fur right above the eye. And you see the direction I'm using, the direction I'm following to place my line. A little bit of curvature. Here it could be a little bit darker over here. Could leave a little bit of white spot right over here because the light is hitting that area. Right? A little bit darker right over here. Right behind the teeth, a little bit darker as well. All right. Let's keep in mind the fur, the ear. Let's finish some of the detail in the ear. Yeah, I like to make it dark over here because this is a strong Black Panther, and I want to define a little bit of the muscle area. And you could grab your pencil this way as well. Any way you feel more comfortable. You are in charge. You are the artist. I'm just giving you a little bit of guidance, but I'm pretty sure that you already developed your style. And there will be some final touch over here. Curve, like hair, a little bit of curve. A little bit of curves that define, create this definition of 3 dimension. Now we're gonna add some whisker. Whisker tend to be a little bit straight, and you could be a little bit fast. So you don't have to put that many. Just some, leave some space in between. Little one and big one makes it look more like what it is, a cat. It's a type of cat. Over here, right? I'm adding a few of them depending how much space you have. Right? And that will be, some of the last detail that we adding. But feel free to go back and, make some more your own style. And you could make different version of Black Panther. All right. Let's put some little bit of shading on the tongue because it look a little bit white. And you could take advantage and add some of the detail around the teeth right over here. See, a little bit of 3D. This shading area right at the bottom of the tooth makes it look more 3D. And like I said, you take your time. Don't rush, because this is a moment to enjoy doing something that you love, which is creating art, because you are an artist. And I'm glad you're here with me because we're gonna keep drawing, and then you're gonna become so good at drawing animal that you're just gonna be impressed with yourself. And remember, practice makes progress. See, I'm adding final detail, the shading, the face, around the eyes, slowly. All right, great. I mean, we could continue and adding more detail, and it could go on forever. But this time we're gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna put my pencils down. I want you to enjoy this moment, and happy to be your guide today and show you how to draw a Black Panther. Thank you so much.